is the support position. Of course, Lulu can play both, but Kog'Maw, the tank shredder as far as AD carries goes, just rips through them even quicker than maybe Vayne. Vayne has a longer ramp-up time. Kog'Maw probably only needs the 2 or 3 items to really get going, but I want to see the Varus come through. Name, such a good Varus player, and against a Kog'Maw, he lands 3 auto attacks and an ability. Kog'Maw's going to die.
Look, I don't think they have the potential Urgot coming through. I don't know who would play it because Name I don't think does, and Korn has already got his champion, so can't pick that into the Jogmo. Instead, though, they take the Lucian Jarvan. Still aggressive, but I think Varus is even more aggressive in that lane matchup.
Yeah, I certainly think that Varus especially, there is a lot of CC, so I can see why they ran away from it, but I just think the potential damage that comes through is so strong that they've completely mid-gamed here, Starhorn Royal Club, just gone all in on their win condition, which is probably a pre-30-minute win right now. If the game goes any later, Energy Pacemaker with their tanky lineup and that Kog'Maw and the 2 supports going to be pumping out some damage.
Yeah, they've got some dumb scaling and even got the Nami Kog'Maw lane as well. I guess Blank didn't feel comfortable running the Nautilus Flex into the jungle because Zero could have taken away the Nami if he wanted to. This is always the thing that amuses me, I guess, about Juggermore is whenever Lulu's not banned, you just can't do anything in drafts. Once you realize that they're going to pick it, it's just too late.
Yeah, it certainly is. And I think that what you hit on the fact that Nautilus in the jungle probably wasn't a comfort pick, Blank had to go back to that Jarvan. There's just not very many, I guess, answers for the Kog'Maw in this comp.
And, you know, we see Korn on LeBlanc. That's a great champion. Raphael very safe on the Lulu. Nami going to take his Lucian. Definitely wants the 2v2 if he can find it, but even that's a little tentative. And Zero, I like that he's on a playmaking champion. We saw his Thresh in Game 1, banned away now in this series, but Nautilus, he can definitely make plays on that champion as well.
Yeah, certainly can. And look, if anyone can tie Kog'Maw up, it is going to be the Nord, of course, with like 4 kinds of CCs or whatever he has. His kit is riddled with CC at this point, but it's just the point that the Kog'Maw, he's going to have a field day freely auto-attacking everything.
Yeah, absolutely. And no, we are not quite into the game yet, but as we're talking about the Juggermore for EP, something very different for them.
Yeah, it certainly is. And look, it's not a full-blown Juggermore. There is, of course, the 2 tanks, but they will provide their own kind of peel. They're not going to augment the damage, but really keep people in target and get rid of some threats. So I do like what they've run here. It is kind of a quasi-protect the AD carry comp, and that's a lot of pressure on Zhang Ao, the new AD carry coming through for Energy Pacemaker. Going against Name especially, that's going to be a tough enough task, but with a lot of the win conditions on your back, he needs to do some heavy lifting.
Yeah, we are into Game 2, of course. Royal won the first game very quickly, so Energy Pacemaker going to try and answer with a much slower game. And again, Royal had some scaling last game, going to play very accelerated here in this game if they play to a win. And Energy Pacemaker, all they really have to do is hold on for 30 minutes.
Yeah, exactly right. They just need to get to 2.5, 3 items on Kog'Maw, and then be able to deal handedly with everyone in the Starhorn Royal Club lineup. You feel that is the win condition. It's like there is a time bomb in the middle of the map, and if they can just get away from it for long enough, their comp will level up.
Yeah, and EP's comp kind of feels like the natural evolution of Juggermore in this patch. It's not Morgana top, you know, for an extra support, but it's a fairly supportive jungle. You've got some teamfight protection with a good front line, I suppose, coming from the top in the jungle, and then the support you always want for your Kog'Maw, the Nami for your lane especially, and the Lulu just for added protection.
Yeah, exactly right. And Nami just does so well in the Kog'Maw lane because of the sustain and the auto attack augmentation that comes through that she's, yeah, the exact answer that you need coming through. Lulu, of course, with the Whimsy, I guess is the important spell coming through there, being able to give the speed up and get Kog'Maw in the front line. I do like what they're doing with the composition. I think that it is a little risky, though, because if they don't lay their CC just right, Hecarim, as well as LeBlanc diving in there, will do some work if they aren't to that 30-minute mark.
Yeah, Royal are not wanting for engage in this comp, that's for sure. Plenty of dive with the Jarvan, Hecarim, LeBlanc, and the Nautilus to tie them up as well. But we are going to break into standard lanes. Kohler will actually TP, I think. Yes, he did take a camp there. You can see Cloth Armor plus an extra pot and some Crystalline Flask going on. So level 2 already, but Nami has to punish this lane. That's his big test. Can he be a lane bully again?
Yeah, exactly right. Needs to be able to getting up there, and the early level 2 hasn't done much to help him, although now he's got it in response, and maybe even the early gank coming through here from Blank. Lane is pushing, so it's going to be hard, but he's still going for it.
Yeah, I like this pressure a lot. Zero lining up the hook, just misses, and that's going to force the flash. Blank doesn't overcommit, just gets a summoner and gets out.
Yeah, and that's the important thing here. Now, they've got another couple of minutes to be able to revisit that lane. It also puts a lot of pressure on Drizzle to get into that bottom lane and relieve some pressure. Give Kohler a little bit more time to just walk around.
Great Dirge lane there onto Zanga. Now the damage coming in. Zero getting very aggressive, and Name will turn around. Have to be careful in these trades, but that one went in favor of Royal Club.
Yeah, it certainly didn't. The whole lane now going in favor of Royal Club. They're pushing up so aggressively, making sure that the jungle has to come into this bottom lane and freeing up their assassin and big carry top laner to get some work done.
And this is honestly, I think, more of what we expected from Royal's bottom lane. Everyone remembers Nami as this great late game player who, you know, just fought for days on EDG last year. And that's true, he's still that player, but once upon a time, he was very aggressive, and Zero is the kind of support you can be aggressive with.
Yeah, exactly right. And Zero, he just seems like such a balanced support. When he played with Uzi, we complimented how good he was at peeling. But now that he's playing with Name, we're seeing a little bit more of that engage coming in. Name very self-sufficient, as we see even more harass in this bottom lane.
Yeah, Shu Low actually getting ignited, forced to get out. Zhangao going to get snared up there by the passive of Nautilus, so we'll have to get away. Name took a little too much damage, but that might force Shu back out of lane.
Yeah, but that's both flashes down. The exhaust as well as the heal still available, so no real kill threat coming through, but you throw a Jarvan in there who, as we speak, heading back down river. This is a very precarious situation.
Yeah, smart stuff by Blank. Zero's going to line it up. Flash there for the snare. Knockup going to come through. Another snare coming through, and Name going to try and collect the kill, but Blank will get first blood.
Yeah, so first blood for the jungler. Might turn into a dragon, although it looks like it won't, as Drizzle tries to pick up anything he can. It will be the dragon, so a lot of early aggression coming through from Royal Club again. We said that they needed to get on their bike and get going early, and it looks like they're doing just that.
Yeah, unfortunately, backing away, maybe felt they're a little too low for that dragon, but not going to take it. Name actually just going to push in and try and deny Cog some more CS. In the mid lane, though, Korn doing just fine. This is expected to be a split lane, and Korn, his real question in the early game is how much roaming can he afford to do?
Yeah, exactly right. Needs to get into the top lane, you feel, because bottom lane firmly in their control. Try and pick on this pushing Nah, who had the early lane because he was able to push in with Kohler doing the camp, but Kohler, he's been able to sustain through a lot with that Crystalline Flask. As soon as he goes grab those boots too, auto attack's not going to do much against his Hecker.
Yeah, and that early camp plus the cloth armor helping out lovely as well. I mean, we've seen this so much, but all the level 2 top lane shenanigans just get you so far ahead.
Yeah, they certainly do, and now we see 3 members strong coming in.
Oh, going in now into Raphael Changwoo. Going to try and line it up. Beautiful CC layering there, and Blank gets another kill.
Yeah, Blank the beneficiary of Zero being on point with all of Nautilus's CC, just making sure that his jungle is facilitated around the whole map, and you could see that Energy Pacemaker, they were rotating the Sejuani around, but just wasn't there in time.
Yeah, and I mean, Drizzle playing from behind in both games, you have to think, couldn't get on the front foot on the Nunu, now playing from behind on Sejuani. I mean, getting some farm, is able to apply some pressure, but it's incomparable. Zhangao gets hooked again. Name going to move back in. Gets bubbled, though. Beautiful play from Shu. That might be the killer. Zero will get the kill there onto Kog'Maw. Going to lock up the Nami there as well, but no follow-up kill. Blank even in the area just in case.
Yeah, and I think that's why they didn't go for the
Dredgeland, amazing. Now Blank going to follow in, but Sejuani is here this time, and they'll finally back away.
Yeah, and this is what they're trying to do with Name. They're getting him early advantages and sending back to shop so he can actually translate it into a meaningful advantage in lane. If he had grabbed the dragon last time around, wouldn't have had the time to go back and pick up the pickaxe, which led to the second kill.
Yeah, and you can see getting ahead, not massively far ahead on CS, but starting to win more and more in advantages. It doesn't look like much now, but if Royal keep doing this, just watch that CS counter because it'll start snowballing out of control.
Exactly right, and the problem is now the kill went over onto Zero. He's going to be so hard to deal with because he's already playing so far up. As
going in again. He's actually in the mid lane now with the Moby Boots. Lines up another dredge line. Snare coming through. Riptide in there. Wild Growth might save Raphael, but they're going to chase in. Last few orders is enough, and Blank still here just in case.
Yeah, and just the roam squad coming through from Zero this time around, really dictating the flow of the game. And 4-0, another 2,000 gold advantage for Royal Club at only the 7-minute mark. Exact same timing as last time round, by the way, and they've done it in a completely different fashion. Standard lanes winning across the board.
Yeah, and that 4-0 from Royal, that is 4 kill participations for Zero. 100% involved in everything going on in this early game. And you mentioned already that Zero can be a bit more of a playmaker because Name is slightly more self-sufficient. That's even more true now because when he gets ahead, he just starts roaming.
Yeah, exactly right. And I love what Name did in the lane. He sat back, wasn't willing to go in, gave up a couple of early CS because you see that the CS did jump back into the favor of Kog'Maw just a little bit. But now Zero back in the lane can go up again.
Oh my god, a great stretch on their landing. Now the Culling going to move through. The ultimate even coming in, and Name going to get a kill this time.
Yeah, and Name went back, picked up the dagger, so as much damage he could afford. They continue to bully the lane. Zero's been on point. I don't think I've seen him miss a hook.
No, not yet. Hasn't missed one, and just on the ball from his Thresh in game one. I mean, the ban, definitely the respect there. I love it. Taking away the Thresh after game one, but Zero totally fine on the Nautilus as well.
Yeah, certainly looks to be that way. We criticize maybe the lack of a flex, but wow, Java not really working out here, and the zone now coming through from this Lucian. Has to back away now because there are a lot of members potentially heading into the bot lane, but that job is done. 5-0.
Yeah, I mean, they have to rotate here as well, because I promise you, Zero and Name, especially if Blank's around, they will dive this Kog'Maw happily under that turret, so no one is safe, even starting a bit of a freeze now as well. This Kog'Maw just getting pummeled in the face in this lane.
Yeah, he certainly is, and there's really not an answer to come back. You can send as many members as you want down into this bottom lane, but they're highly mobile, going to be extremely hard to gank a Lucian. And just how tanky Zero is at the moment, I really don't see a way that they win this lane unless they go back in time somehow and stop it all from happening.
I mean, Drizzle's trying, but he's down here with his ultimate and his flash. He could maybe make a play, but there's great warding down the bottom as well. Haven't quite seen the Sedge yet, but now we'll see it. And Zero just on top of everything this game.
Yeah, and straight away they back away. They know that their lane is pushing in their advantage. They're not going to be denied CS. They stop the aggressive zoning. So yeah, Kog'Maw picks up some CS for himself, but not going to get anything out of this lane, and Drizzle, he's forced to just sweep and leave.
Yeah, and again, the lane's still pushing. Royal have done a great job holding it down here in the bottom side to continue to deny the Kog'Maw. 10 CS ahead and counting now for Lucian versus Kog, and Drizzle wastes all that time and gets absolutely nothing for it.
Yeah, and I want to point out the real beneficiary in all of this. It's that man right there. Cola's been able to go back, pick up boots too, and home guard, and some more Cloth Armors for himself, and all of a sudden, 3 members in his lane.
Yeah, and bottom lane's doing fine. Let's gank the top lane. They're going to look for the dive, actually give it up. A little too awkward wave positioning, I guess. Korn, a little bit of harass there onto Amazing J, takes about 40% of his health down, and EP as a result will start the Dragon.
Yeah, so they're going to start the Dragon up, but I don't think Drizzle does it very quickly right now, and no one can rotate to give it away because of how much stronger the bottom lane is. So it's going to take a long time, and they really are relying on Royal Club of not sending anyone to check that. Looks like they will be able to pick it up, but still even a risky move.
Yeah, I mean, a nice play from EP if they do get the Dragon. I mean, it feels a little desperate almost in a way, but you have to at this point. Everything's just gone horribly wrong in the early stages of this game. I guess Raphael doing okay, but not able to keep up in CS that well. I mean, they both have blue buff, but it's Korn. That was our question. Can he leave the lane? And he's already started to roam.
Yeah, he's just been consistently pushing it out, and we saw that Dragon took about a minute, but it was secured in the end, so that's a fantastic Dragon against the Tide there for Energy Pacemaker. Timing will be available for Royal Club because I would see the people in the lane pick up that buff. So they will be able to fight for the next one, but across the board, advantage in the top lane, mid lane, and bottom lane. Their early game really is rolling. So it's not until about the 20-minute mark they'll put the screws in. As soon as they get those 2-item thresholds, they're a team to be reckoned with.
Yeah, and already 3,000 gold ahead are Royal. No towers yet. It's not quite the same game without the Jinx here, but Royal, Zero again lining it up, saying, "I'm in trouble." Teleport's coming through as well. They really committing to all the kills. They cancel the port, and Name gets another kill.
Yeah, so Name picking up a couple of kills now, really getting going on this Lucian. His Lucian play was fantastic last year. He really was a great Lucian player. Of course, he's known for a couple of the more oddball picks like the Varus, like the Jinx back then, but really can play these mid-game carries quite well, and we're seeing his laning phase maybe not as bad as people make it out to be.
No, I mean, especially with a playmaker like Zero in your lane. Zero's done so much to boost the aggression levels in this bottom side of the map. It's wonderful to see them play this well together. Kola taking a bit of harass. Drizzle is actually in the area, so maybe an overcommit as he's going in onto Amazing J. Minina form only though, but Drizzle coming in. An amazing ulti there for Kola, but Amazing J hops out. Zero's here as well with Korn. Hook lands onto Drizzle, and Kola getting low, but should be fine. Drizzle will die. Name gets the tower in bottom lane, and Royal explode across the map.
Yeah, so everywhere they're just getting advantage after advantage. In the mid lane, Blank's even there to pick up a wave of CS. He'll love that feeling as a jungler. Doesn't even need to go to the gank. Get some free farm for himself, and this game probably even further back this time for Energy Pacemaker because their turrets are still up. That's just free bank for Starhorn Royal Club to collect whenever they want.
Yeah, I mean, just that one Dragon for EP, their only consolation at this point in the game. And Blank, we haven't talked too much about Jarvan recently. It's been a lot on the Sejuani and the Zax of the jungle so far, but Cinderhawk Jarvan, very serviceable. Loveling was doing this with the Juggernaut enchantment before it got changed.
Yeah, exactly right. And Jarvan's always been a great pure tank because of the intangibles on his kit. He's got a slow, he's got that knock-up as well as a Cataclysm, not to mention the fact that he gives some armor penetration and the like across. So really is a solid, I guess, supportive jungler in his own right. As we see, wow, just toe-to-toe.
Yeah, Nami's been rotated in. He's got his Infinity Edge done now, plus a dagger for almost those Berserker Greaves. And he's just casually 1v1ing the top laner with 0 in reserve.
Yeah, just sitting there willing to fight. And it was because of the aggressive build. We see Amazing J do this a lot for his mini-Narf on picking up that early phage. But what that means, no armor, just completely bullied.
And Kohler not even going for the Trinity Force. Again, very mid-game focus for Hecarim. Doesn't think he needs to carry this game. Thinks we've got the LeBlanc and the Lucian. So instead, just going early tank items.
Yeah, and I like the Frozen Heart because getting in the Kog'Maw's face with the Frozen Heart just completely shuts down exactly what Zhang Ao wants to do early. So being able to get in there and bully it around will mean good things for his team. Doesn't need the damage because of the great bases that come through from Hecarim. Will eventually pick up that Trinity Force, I'm sure, but just a very patient build.
Yeah, your observation from earlier about the standing gold here. Turrets have started to fall now, so Royal building up that gold lead about 7,000 now, and Korn might even look to snipe away the blue before possibly just Raphael.
Yeah, so he's looking for a kill there, but he has been spotted out by a ward, so they will maybe be able to stop this, although 3 members now coming in. They probably need to get out here, Energy Pacemaker.
Yeah, Gromp here for Zhang Ao did go to him, so aggression potentially coming. You can see Lucian in the mid lane rotating in, but Blank on top of the buff. You're going to clear out the pink ward. Kohler's actually down here. Didn't even use his teleport. Just walked down there. Dragon's not even up. This is a very big commitment for Royal, but they're going to take away the blue buff.
Yeah, they certainly are. Now they've got all their members available for that mid turret. The last one standing. See if they can get some members into that mid lane to take that one out. Although they are sending Name back to shop. I assume that's maybe Azil, potentially just Boots too. Ultimate thrown out.
Yeah, they want to kill Raphael. Their Dredge Lane going to come in. Korn on top of him. Wildgrowth good. Name forced to flash away. Gets picked up by the tidal wave. That was Korn. Now going to get low. Drizzle getting some damage in. Is Amazing J joining right in. Going to bounce his way in. Look for the ulti. Gets them back. Name's done into a wall. But Korn trying to peel them off. Name goes down. Zero falls as well. And it's actually some good kills. But Jarvan got another. Now Kohler moving in onto Zhang Ao. But Blank will fall there as well. Hecarim not strong enough yet to really go in like that. Might look to fall here as well. As Drizzle's getting the slows down. Kohler just escaping. Korn going to look for an exit kill here, but it's 1v4 right now. Gets tagged by Glittland, goes back in a little too aggressive, gets Polymorph there, gets a kill, flashes out, but does die to the auto attacks.
And there are so many flashing health bars for Energy Pacemaker, but ultimately they win the fight 2 for 4. Huge in their favor. More importantly, get a kill over onto their Kog'Maw, who was really drowning in this game. 20 CS down, able to grab himself something at least. We'll go back, possibly finish up that Trinity Force now, and Energy Pacemaker, they haven't made all the difference, but they're getting back in it. We'll take another look. Overcommitment coming through from the whole Royal Club lineup, and Raphael, he was just trying to get back to his team. That was what the flash was all about. A little bit of a fail into the wall, but he got back to his team, and from there, Amazing J just willing to go extremely deep to the lineup, the whole team. Gets a great bounce in, good Gnar coming through, and there just wasn't much that the Royal Club lineup could do because their top laner wasn't there. Don't get me wrong, they're fighting under a turret still and they're taking a lot of incidental damage, but as members keep falling, there's not really the cooldowns available to win the fight.
And you know, Korn tried to go in heroically to clean up the kills, but didn't even have his death cap finished. He's almost done it now on top of his Muralonomicon. But Royal down in the bottom side now trying to take out this turret. 5v4 with Amazing Day's teleport down in the top side of the map and Dragon up in 2 seconds. You can tell what Royal are going for.
Yeah, you certainly can. And look, that was a good fight for Energy Pacemaker, but they're still 5,000 gold behind. So they're going to lose out on the Dragon. Probably just look to trade it for a turret because this is only Royal Club's first Dragon. So see how they go with that one. But they were just sitting on so much gold there, Royal Club, that they chose to fight in a disadvantaged situation.
Yeah. So a bit awkward. You never want to fight without your gold being spent, but Dragon will go down there the first for Royal. Tower does fall. Kohler actually went back and tried to home guard back into the area to clean it up, but couldn't quite complete it. And we can see item timing's coming through now for Royal, but still a little bit of gold away from really ramping up.
Yeah, they certainly are. And look, we said about 20 minutes, so they've still got that 2 minutes to go before they really do have those huge 2 items. Of course, Hecarim, just such a luxury item build. He's not going to have that for quite some time if he goes Trinity Force next. But it's all about being able to get that static shift, grabbing the death cap on the middle of Blanc, and then they'll just look to roam and pick up kill after kill with Zero.
Yeah, we'll see how they do shake it out here. We've got items coming through. Even Zero actually going for a Randuin's, I think, there as well. So, I mean, it makes sense. He's been involved in a lot of kills. He's got lots of extra gold for his support. So, he went the Luxury Guardian Angel last game. Going to be going for a Randuin's this game instead, as we can see Royal trying to look. I mean, again, to have those double sight stones, they have to get some aggressive vision down. Already some good blue wards scattered through. So, 20 minutes is approaching. Just get those item spikes and start really pushing back into EP.
And you can see that's exactly what they're looking for. Both carries have skipped boots too, just to get their 2 item spikes, being able to get in there with that death cap. Now with the static shift, Name and Korn are just so ridiculously strong compared to their counterparts. And they're just going to look to force the pace. The split push has started. No one can go near that LeBlanc. With the death cap finished up, we'll probably one-shot even the tank.
Yeah, and he said 30 minutes was the time where Royal kind of had to win the game in to prevent the scaling from coming through. I think that's still true in this game. So we're about to hit the 20-minute mark. The 2 item spikes have come through for Royal. It's going to be a very turbulent 10 minutes for EP. We'll see if they can hold on.
Yeah, certainly. And the thing about Energy Pacemaker, it's not like they can just walk off the map and defend the bare minimum turrets, because they still do need to get the farm onto Cogmore. But if they just continue to slowly bleed objectives and pick up farm for the Cogmore, get him towards that 2.5 item mark by the 30-minute mark, he's still going to be an extremely strong hyper carry. It's all about the levels on the Nami and the Lulu being able to get them up to max rank. So if they can continue to get experience around the map, sure, they're still in with a chance, but Royal Club, they're in the driver's seat.
Yeah, and looking to really apply more pressure as well. Name just split pushing by himself. We had Korn down the bottom, like you've already noted, doing the same thing. They're coming, actually going to push the wave in. Royal, they want some turrets.
Yeah, they certainly are just looking to continue to push the map up, get as much farm onto their carries as possible, rotate around and try and catch people in transition. They've done it here. They'll get a little bit of damage.
Yeah, they'll get enough damage, actually. Wow. Tower prepped earlier, I guess, by Korn helping out, and Name gets the turret.
And blue buff just respawns. Perfect position to be able to pick that one up. Mid lane, they've lost a whole wave of experience to that turret. So Royal Club, they understand exactly what their win conditions are. They're forcing Energy Pacemaker around the map, and they can't pick up the resources they need.
Yeah, and especially on the right-hand side of the map, beautiful wards placed all around there. 3 nice green wards, a pink ward on top of the blue buff as well. Just great vision control. And this is what's been missing from a lot of Royals games. I mean, they haven't actually had that many leads, so it kind of makes sense. But this is the first time we've really seen them, you get a lead and then start to snowball it super effectively.
Yeah, exactly right. And they're doing it with a mid-game composition. We've all never doubted like Insect Zero, Name's ability to play late game compositions. They have late game written all over them, especially through, I guess, decision making, although Insect this season has been a little questionable at times, but it really is, can they play this accelerated pace of League of Legends that we've seen be so successful from the likes of EDG? And this game, at least, it looks like they've made some inroads to that.
Yeah, and look, Blank, not the same jungler as Insect, definitely, the sub-jungler coming in, but really just had a role-playing job to do here. Get your Sightstone, be a utility jungler, and in 2 games now, on the Sejuani and now the more support-focused Jarvan, done an admirable job just being tanky, being the front line, putting down the wards, and making sure your team's got all the resources they need.
Yeah, and maybe it is a shot-calling thing, because we saw that he was willing to camp the bottom lane. He was just getting into the bottom lane over and over again, and he set this game up to snowball. Sure, the carries have taken over now, but he was probably responsible. He blew the flash first and then paid a return visit. Really has done a fantastic job of getting the bottom lane ahead.
Yeah, and Korn been very self-sufficient so far. Level 13 actually with a blue buff on LeBlanc. So very scary, continuing to split push down the bottom. And again, be in lanes where you can threaten this Cogmore, because Zhang still struggling to find farm.
Yeah, he certainly is, and that's a big thing. We said if they can find farm up until the 30-minute mark, it doesn't look like they can, because they're being forced off everything.
Yeah, Kohler again, trading a little bit unfavorably. The hyper pretty good, but Frozen Heart just fine in this matchup. Amazing J actually going to go aggressive. Randuin's getting popped there as well. He wants to, but Kohler ulties himself out. Amazing J doesn't quite land the last slow, but good harass there in the top lane.
Yeah, so you see at least one lane still going in Energy Pacemaker's favor. I think in a team fight, though, Kohler probably is going to be a little bit more valuable just because he can dive onto that Kog'Maw and get the Frozen Heart aura across. Whereas Amazing J right now, if he doesn't get a great Gnar into a Sejuani ultimate, will just be ripped apart by that LeBlanc, because they're not going to use any of the support abilities on the Gnar this time around. They're all for the Kog'Maw, so have to see how that one works out, but at least able to pick up farm on one of their lanes.
And it looks like Dragon back up in 40 seconds, so both teams wanting to set some vision up for it. Korn is still on the bottom, so actually hanging out in that brush, I believe, hoping someone walks down and pushing the waves in. Royal do need to clear out some of the vision. They've got one upgraded sweeper already. Wouldn't be too surprised to see Zero get his. And by the way, he has finished up the Randuin, so very tanky now on the Nautilus. They're winning on a couple more items, but again, they've just kept the pressure on, keep tabs on everyone, and just play around the objectives, play around the Dragon.
Yeah, exactly right. Play around the Dragon, couple more minutes, start playing around the Baron, see how much work you can get done. Trinity Force nearly finished up here for Hecarim. Probably a little bit quicker than I expected to see. Might have it by the 30-minute mark when they really are going. Void Staff and Last Whisper will be picked up very soon for Name and Korn respectively, so they're in a fantastic position to fight still, but Energy Pacemaker, they can probably still afford to let objectives go.
Yeah, it's not too bad. Kohler does have his teleport, but Amazing Day already down. There's the Mega now being triggered, so we're all going to back off for a second. That might actually give EP enough space just going on top of the Dragon, but Kohler's porting in. Korn wants to go in as well. Good harass coming through, but Kohler just so fast with the Home Guard boots. Doesn't find the flank. EP do back away and will reset for the Dragon.
Yeah, so they're pinging out the mid lane. They want to send Name there to cut off the wave, push it back in, because they understand at this moment in time, farm is all important for the Kog'Maw. So if they get that mid wave pushing, they've actually beat them to the punch. They'll get mid-turret. Yeah,
very nice push here coming through. They might even get the Dragon as they swing back around. Name doing good damage. Kohler on top of it. Don't quite get it, but deal excellent damage to it. Back away now, looping in towards the Dragon. And it's all that aggressive vision. EP have to always take the long way back around.
Yeah, exactly right. And now they can force Energy Pacemaker to come to them through their line of vision in a single file, which against the Nautilus is just suicide. So through good map movement, going to be able to probably pick up an uncontested Dragon.
Wonderful rotations here by Royal, and they will take away the Dragon. They'll get it away there. Will goes the second, falls there to Royal. Not a massive one, but will help with some of the rotations they've been doing.
Yeah, it certainly does. And the other thing it does for a mid-game composition, wow.
Yeah, Nami potentially caught, flashes out of the way. Relentless pursuing toward Korn. Amazing Day actually popped in, but no follow-up CC available.
Yeah, so was able to dodge out of exactly where Sejuani was. I'm surprised Drizzle didn't pull the trigger on the ultimate there, but it looks like they might get a turret for their trouble.
Gonna go in for it, but Royal have been very adamant about protecting their mid lane turret, especially. Kohler around the side. Drizzle gonna get caught up there. Korn will get him with a chain, but Amazing Day, massive three-man Gnar ultimate into the Sedge, but Kohler's in the front lines now, tearing through them. We'll get Polymorphed away. Forced to ultimate, actually. Can't use it offensively. Zhangao actually getting the kill anyway with a massive ultimate, I believe, and they're going on to Baron. They don't want the turret.
Baron straight away pinged out here. This is horrible news for Royal Club. We said how well this team will scale. If they're not as 5, there's no way they can fight Energy Pacemaker, and they've started off. They will tear through this.
Korn very low on health, training in towards the Baron. Nami, decent help, but not a whole lot of mana. They are going to try and protect it. Zero is here, but doesn't have an ulti. Korn, you can see waiting. Drizzle actually might get tied up here, but Korn knows he has to dive in. There's no vision. He's going to go in blind. Tags him with an E. They're looking in. The Baron getting low. Korn's going to flash. He wants to steal it. He does get it away. Zhangao gets the kill, but Baron goes to Royal.
And that is just such good news. Underestimating the burst damage that comes through from the LeBlanc. Sure, she dies, but mission success. Just getting every advantage needed for his team, and Name once again going to pick up a blue buff.
Yeah, never wanted to shy away from taking objectives away. Massive wave in the top lane. Going to be cleared up by Amazing J as well. Kog'Maw getting stronger. He might have Blade of the Ruin King finish now as well. So 2 items good. Not quite the 3-4 items that we want to see, but getting towards it. EP have definitely won a lot back after that little exchange, and that timer for Royal, they've got about 3.5 minutes left.
Yeah, and EP have come up huge, actually. Picking up that Blade of the Ruin King. We've seen how much damage is already being done. That's just going to be skyrocketed now. Have to talk a little bit about Blank's build as well. Coming through is actually going to Warmogs. That's a lot of health against Kog'Maw, who does percentage damage already. Not to mention, automatically builds into the Blade of the Ruin King. And no armor, no MR. if I'm honest, hate the pickup.
Fair enough. I mean, it's funny as well, because maybe he's like, well, we already have a friend who was in a Frozen Heart. I don't need it. But, I don't know, buy Thornmail, dive some turrets. Like, there are definitely options there. I think I have to agree.
Yeah, definitely. And even maybe a little bit of magic resist, something like a Locket coming through. You can't underestimate how much damage is going to come out of the Lulu and out of the Cogmore W.
Yeah, I mean, Cogman does a lot of mixed damage. It's not quite Corky levels, but it's plenty of damage coming through. But well, at least Jarvan will, if he wants to dive, have the health pool to do so. It's a very aggressive mid-game focused pickup because Royals still know they're on a timer this game. And that EP have bought themselves a lot of time recently. Tower does go down, though. It was prepared earlier.
Yeah, it certainly wasn't. Able to get in there nice and aggressive. Now rotate into the top lane. Try and pick out the last outer. And their map movements have been great. They just haven't picked a lot of good fights here, Royal Club. And that's strange to say of a team that has a 7,000 gold advantage.
Yeah, I mean, now Royal going to rotate in blank with that Warmog's able to tank up very nicely. And they do have a good front line. That's one thing we can say about Royal. But that puts even more pressure on Korn and Name to carry on the LeBlanc and the Lucian. So they're looking good so far. Name's actually jumped pretty significantly far ahead in terms of items because he's got the last Whisper done and a spare BF sword there as well. And I love this pickup. He's actually got Merc Treads.
Yeah, so he's got the Merc Treads. I agree because of how he's going to weave in spells, and that's kind of his defensive item. If he can survive the initial CC, he's confident in his positioning ability to be able to get away from the two big tanks. Not really going to be able to threaten him that much. So, yeah, definitely think that it's a worthwhile build. Haven't seen the QSS come out, which against a Sejuani as well as a Nah probably is a good pickup. Especially because Zero didn't go the Mikhails this time around, did go for a very selfish build. So a lot is on Korn as well as Name to not get caught in the initial CC and be able to put out persistent threat.
Yeah, I think selfish is a very good way to describe what Zero's been doing in the last few games. We all remember the GA from Game 1, and now he's got Aranduans. I mean, again, trying to be an additional tank, it's fine, especially given that they're snowballing. And I think you hit it with the QSS. That's probably not a Bloodthirster. That's likely a Mercurial Scimitar.
Yeah, but then you think that maybe he needs some lifesteal in his build as well because there's some incidental damage that will come through and needs to keep himself topped up. I honestly don't know where he goes with the build after that, although this is something Name does all the time. He picks up as much gold-efficient items as he can. If he has 1550 gold, he's going to go back and buy it.
Yeah, Name and Uzi actually have that trait about them as AD carriers. They always want to just be as strong as possible at any given moment. So things looking good, but that 30 minutes pretty much here now. The next Dragon coming through. We look down at Cogmore. 2.5 items. Okay, not 3 items, so maybe not where he wants to be yet, but lots of strength here for Energy Pacemaker. Royal may have lost just a few precious minutes in the last exchange.
Yeah, they certainly have, but good hook coming through.
Yeah, Drizzle very tanky though at this stage, although he's getting culled now by Nami. Great ulti, they're going to land in on top of it. Cola trying to make it happen. Massive Hecarim flank, and the ulti goes in, and Royal have taken over the fight. Amazing Jay going to get chased down. He's the last one left alive for EP. They might not catch him. They are going to try though. Massive there is a good ulti, might keep him safe. Still too much CC coming in. The last kill goes to Nautilus, and that's a clean ace.
Yeah, clean ace coming through. We said that maybe the clock had run out, but Zero with a great catch onto one of those tanky members that we were talking about, getting them off the map before the fight even started. No layering of CC might mean the game, although death time is still very short.
Yeah, have to back away. Can't even do some damage. No, never mind. Another surrenders come through. EP don't want to play out the rest of that game. A little premature. But, I mean, another strong performance by Royal.
Yeah, great performance by Royal, but Energy Pacemaker, you have the scaling comp in that. Surrendering with only one inhibitor down, maybe questionable, but all in all, the game's over, and Royal Club, they pick up the 2-0.
Yeah, and that's exactly what they needed. Would have been a disappointing 1-1 for either of these teams, and Royal, they get the 3 points they need. That pops them into playoff contention briefly, tied with Master 3 now for points, but M3 have some games to play today too.
Yeah, they certainly do, and really looking forward to see how that goes. Touching a little bit more on Royal Club, I think that what we've learned out of this is backs against the wall, veteran lineup can still come through. Name Korn going completely nuts today, throwing the fact that Zero had a great day as well. That's exactly what Royal Club needed.
I mean, before we move away, look, the top lane flank there on the Hecarim, he only had one ulti, but he only needed one good one. That was amazing.
Yeah, it certainly was, and the fact that he kept his lane exactly where it was, held Amazing J down, who is that carry top laner for Energy Pacemaker, went a long way, but really was the bottom half of the map that just did it for me today. They were very stellar.
Yeah, and finally a fantastic performance for Royal, really taking over the series and getting the much-needed 3 points, but don't go too far after the break. We'll return with more LPL action.